Welcome to this tutorial video on the measure phase of DMAIC. In this video we're going to explain what the measure phase is, break it down into its sub-steps and introduce some of the tools that you might use. Firstly, let's look at the objective of the measure phase, which is to understand and baseline the current performance of the process through a set of relevant and robust measures. So the measure phase is all about measuring the problem with reliable data and establishing a baseline of the existing performance of the process before you start to improve it. Now let's take a look at some of the sub-steps within the measure phase. The first step of measure is about developing process measures. In this step, we are trying to establish what metrics and KPIs will be tracked throughout the project. Having done that, the second step is about collecting data in order to calculate the metrics. So this step is all about defining what we will be collecting, how we will be collecting it, and when. Having collected some process data, the third step is about checking the data quality. In other words, we are trying to check that the data we have collected is reliable and that it represents what we think it does. So now that we have some good quality data, we can start to take an initial look at it in the fourth step of measure, which is all about understanding process behaviour. The aim here is to understand a bit more about the process, including whether it is changing over time or if it is relatively stable. It's useful to know at the beginning of a project whether a process is moving around a lot, in other words unstable, or whether it is stable, predictable and in control. Finally, the fifth step of the measure phase is about baselining process capability. This step is all about establishing a baseline for the existing process, or in other words, understanding the performance of the process before any improvements take place. Some of the tools that you might hear about in the measure phase are KPI trees, operational definitions, data collection plans, and gauge R&R, which all help you collect good quality data. First-pass analysis techniques, such as time series plots and histograms, which help you to understand process behaviour, and process capability analysis, which includes performance metrics such as the percentage, DPMO, CP, and CPK. So that's a brief summary of the measure phase. As you can see, there's lots of work to do in the measure phase before the analyse and improve phases where you actually start to find root causes and make improvements. However, you could argue that there is little point proceeding through to the analyse and improve phases if you can't measure your problem effectively and quantify any improvements that you might make. So the measure phase can be thought of as a worthwhile investment in your project. That concludes this short video on the measure phase of DMAIC. Thanks for watching.